Tell me about a time that you or somebody you know, like you know this story personally. Tell me about a time that you or somebody you know, either separately or together or neither of you, were actually involved or not. Like think, and it could be an instance too. So tell me about a time or an instance or even a place that you and this person that you know this person, so this isn't a random person. Tell me about a time or a place or an instance that you or this person, either separately or together, could be either one, maybe none of you honestly were involved in this or not involved. But tell me about a time that you or this other person or none of you or all of you, or an instance or a place or a thing, could be a thing too. Tell me about a time that you...
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Thursday, November 21st, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And filling in for our super producer, he's the next best thing. It's Eshwa Kid.
How y'all doing?
What's up, Esh?
NBT.
Tass and JD at the airport as we speak, getting ready to fly to Washington, D.C. for the Celtics visiting the White House. And we have a photo here from JD traveling in style. He's suited and booted. He's wearing his suit on the plane because they're going to have a short turnaround from when they land, I guess, to going to the festivities at the White House for the Celtics championship.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly a short turnaround. Tass, of course, he's going to go back and he's going to change.
Yes, of course.
It seems like. So maybe JD's just wearing a suit on a plane to look cool.
I mean, it's a power move.
Totally. You see a guy in a suit, you're like, he's doing something important. And they're doing something important.
Yeah, he's got the fresh cut, too. He's looking good. I think he might get arrested at the White House for looking that fire. Not going to let him in. We got a fun show here, though, with just the three of us. We're going to do a quick draft of last night's best games or biggest storylines. It was a weird night in the association, but we'll get into that. We got a few trade ideas from Bleacher Report that I'm going to share with TK and all of you, and we can critique them. And we got a three-way tie when it comes to our pick'em battle for the month of November. But first, we see your Beyonce, NFL overlords, and we raise you a Mickey Mouse. Talk about some cultural cachet, baby. Disney, ESPN, and the NBA are teaming up to present Dunk the Halls, a real-time animated broadcast of the Spurs-Knicks matchup on Christmas Day. So the presentation is going to utilize Sony's Beyond Sports technology by recreating the game action of stars like Wembanyama and Jalen Brunson on Magic Kingdom's Main Street, USA. So this is wild. Let me go through some of the things they're saying that's going to happen during this. Okay, we got Mickey, we got Minnie, we got Donald Duck, Pluto, Goofy, Chip and Dale.
Oh, the Rescue Rangers.
That's right. They are going to be cheering on the game from the sidelines. Okay?
They're just going.
They're just going.
In attendance.
They got tickets. They're going. At halftime, I assume a lot of those characters I just listed, they're going to be competing in a special dunk contest. Who do you like? I don't think the odds are out yet on BetMGM, but who do you like in the Disney dunk contest?
I mean, Mickey's an athlete.
Yeah.
You know? Tough to pick against Mickey at home. I guess
it's an at-home game for everybody. In their own
I guess so.
I'm leaning towards Goofy, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And we've seen them sometimes struggle in dunk contests, don't get the credit maybe they deserve, though Dwight Howard maybe is a Goofy-like guy.
Great comp.
Yeah, it's a good comp. And
I'm a little worried. We've seen Cole Anthony dunk in boots. So will Goofy dunking in boots have the same impact? I don't know.
We'll find out. We're going to have Santa's elves operating the camera while Santa himself operates ESPN's Skycam.
Oh, they got Santa, too.
They got Santa.
I didn't know he was a Disney property.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's on the 25th. It's the first game of the quintuple header, but he's done all his work.
Yeah.
So
he's had a long night.
Tim Allen, Santa Claus?
I'm not sure which one it is.
Is that what it is?
Scott Calvin.
Yeah. The Disney characters will deliver pregame and halftime speeches to the players. And they're going to decorate a large Christmas tree during the game. Why would you be decorating the tree on Christmas Day? That's a little odd. Fans will also find out if it will snow on Main Street, USA.
Wow.
You can bet the fucking house on it snowing on Main Street, USA during this game. Okay, why would they put that in the show notes or the notes about this? We're gonna see how many churros Goofy can eat. What do you want to set the line at for Joey Chestnut Goof Man?
That one's real. That was the one that the most felt like a joke to me.
I don't know if any of this is a joke. It's in the press release. Okay, how many do you think he can put back though? During a game, a 2.5 hour game.
18 and a half, I think, is the line.
Okay, right.
How long does he get? 6 minutes?
And then we have Drew Carter, Monica McNutt, and the sideline reporter, Daisy Duck, will be on the call.
Drew Carter?
Yeah.
Okay. Daisy Duck.
So again,
Daisy Duck is jumping the line.
This is an alternative cast. We've never really seen it like to this extent in the NBA world, though. Ash, I know you were talking about this before we went live. Like the NFL has done this with, what did we get a SpongeBob sort of alt cast? I know hockey has done it as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the NBA is going to try it here. Are you excited for this? Will you be watching with your boys?
Yeah, I was talking about it this morning, and little Lucas was very excited to see Mickey Mouse on Christmas with the basketball. So
sure.
Yeah, we'll probably be watching it at least for a little bit. See what it's like, but I don't know if it's gonna be good. If it's anything like the Toy Story thing that they did a year or so ago.
Toy Story, yeah, that's it. That didn't go well for the NFL?
Was not great.
Oh.
Was not great. Nothing worked. Literally, the entire cast was not working.
Woody couldn't run a curl route and save his life.
That's the thing, is like none of the main toys even played. They were on the side watching while you had...
spoilers, Ash, but if you look at them, they don't do anything.
Oh.
That's the problem.
I mean,
so if you looked away, they're
going crazy.
Maybe that's what was going on. But yeah, it was all the little green men on that field, and they were not even moving. They were just stuck the entire time.
Oh, okay. The only thing I guess comparable to this for the NBA is, do you remember the NBA and ESPN did? They teamed up with like Disney Marvel to do some sort of weird.
Oh yeah,
cast.
I remember that.
But it wasn't the characters playing the game. Which is what I think this will be, or at least it'll be a cartoon version of Wemby and a cartoon version of Brunson. I don't know, really. But that was just like a weird, like, tallying of points for them or something. I didn't even know what the hell was going on.
It's more like the players became characters, kind of, right? I feel like the Pelicans were involved because Zion was definitely, like, one of the guys.
Yeah. Yeah, like Thor
yeah,
or
it's
something.
weird, man. But, the NFL has their own icon, Beyonce. She's been an icon for 25 years. That's nothing compared to Mickey Mouse. He's been an icon for 100 years.
Wow. So you think this is going to draw some eyeballs away from those Christmas Day football Netflix games?
This is going to be so good that by the time Beyonce comes on during the 4:30 NFL game, people are going to be like, who cares? We already saw Mickey Mouse.
Which of the Disney characters would you like to see do Cowboy Carter, the album? Beat her to it, I say.
Donald Duck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it'd be an interesting voice. Good? That wasn't bad.
Yeah, my kids think I got a good Donald Duck. I don't think so. Not me.
All right, so that's something to look forward to on Christmas Day, that first game between the Spurs and the Knicks. But let's get to drafting last night's best games. So let's do it here, TK. You got the number one pick. We're only going to do 2 rounds this morning because we got all these trade ideas to talk about. And again, there weren't a lot of super entertaining games last night. But where do you want to start with? What's your game, your number one pick?
I'm taking a Sixers game.
Oh, boy.
Oh, they tanked for the number one pick. This is the process to get drafted this early. The Grizzlies, though, beat the Sixers last night, 117, 111, and we'll get to the Sixers side of things. But I was super impressed with the guys who were playing for the Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane in particular. 25 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block, and a couple of threes for Jaren Jackson Jr. Bane, they're calling him Downhill Dez all the time right now. 21 points, 10 boards, 6 assists for him, a steal, a block. He hit 5 threes. It's been a slow start for Desmond Bane in particular. Missed a little bit of time. His percentages are not great. 44 from the field, 34 from 3. Those will come up, but I liked everything else he was doing. Driving the ball, getting people involved. In the fourth quarter, Jaren Jackson Jr., 6 points on 3 of 3 shooting, taking it at Embiid basically every single time. And Bane had 5 points and 3 assists of his own. They look good. They're 4-4, I believe, with Ja Morant on the bench. Mm-hmm. And I think last season, even though it was a lost season like the Pelicans are having here, it's been beneficial for the Grizzlies this year because Jaren Jackson Jr., he looks good, man. He's averaging 23 points per game, shooting 53 from the field, 35 from three. 35 is not a great number, but it's an average number, and I think that's all he really needs to be as a shooter. And he just looks confident as a number one option. Maybe he's splitting the difference here with Desmond Bane while Ja is out, but they both were really good. They shut the door on the Sixers, I thought, in the fourth quarter as Philly was trying to make a comeback. So nice win for them. Also a little bit impressed with Jake LaRavia and Jalen Wells. Like, the Grizzlies, for whatever reason, are the best team at just finding random wins.
Totally.
LaRavia did nothing last year. He was bypassed by Gigi Jackson, who hasn't played yet this season, Vince Williams, who came back, got hurt, came back, and then got hurt again. They were both good. LaRavia was out of the rotation, but he's running the court. He's hitting open shots. He's a cutter. Basically the exact same things that Jalen Wells is doing. They're just able to unearth these guys. I was really impressed by the Grizzlies. As for the Sixers.
Here we go.
As for the Sixers, Joel Embiid had a good game. I think that would be the main takeaway if I'm a Sixers fan.
Sure.
That's all I would want to focus on because everything else is bad. But 35 for Embiid, 11 rebounds, a couple assists, a steal, and a block. The mid-range game was actually working. He went 5 for 7 at the nail where he's always touching the ball. He was finishing inside.
And he got to the free throw line.
He got to the free throw line, classic Embiid style. This was the most he's looked like Joel Embiid, I thought, but they still lost. They still can't shoot. Paul George got hurt. Maxey was back, maybe a little too early, but when you call out the franchise player, you got to come back, even if you can only play 6 minutes in the first half. He's on a restriction, but the Sixers lost again, and they're just going to keep losing.
Yeah, and yes, you slipped it in there. Paul George re-injuring, I guess, that same knee that he hyperextended and missed some time in the preseason and some early action. It was not a lot going on from what I can remember. He was just like basically playing a little defense and jumping for a rebound, then suddenly grabbing at it, and then he had to leave the game. We're waiting to see on the severity of it. I think Nick Nurse was saying like there's nothing structural. He probably just tweaked it again, but like holy crap, like they finally get the big three. We'll throw in air quotes. They got them on court together, and it lasts for like, a total of whatever minutes they played together, 15, probably less actually. Just sucks. I mean, is this Sixers season just like, is it a loss already? I know we keep saying, oh, they're in it because the Eastern Conference sucks. Like, I mean, this is just, it gets worse and worse and worse.
Look, they're probably still in it, to be honest. Like, they're going to be a playoff team. It's going to be tough for them to not be a playoff team, but they're basically 10 games under 500 to start. So for me, they're not actually going to be a championship contender this year. And then you look at the players they play. Yes, they did finally get the big three on court together. It was short-lived, but they're also playing like Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond at the same time, and none of them are good. Last night, three-point shooting, Memphis went 19 for 43. They were getting great shots. The ball was popping around the perimeter, drive and kick. Easy looks. Philadelphia only got 33 attempts up. They made 11 of them. Nobody can shoot on that team outside of McCain. Maxey will probably be able to shoot at some point this season. And Gershon Yabusele actually has been shooting the ball pretty well. I think he should maybe take every single one of Andre Drummond's minutes. But guess what? You need Drummond to play because Embiid can't go the entire time.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot for Philadelphia. Everybody knows they wanted to manage Joel Embiid's minutes. His back-to-backs, all this kind of stuff. Then Paul George goes down at the start of the third quarter, and suddenly Embiid is playing the entire third quarter. Had to play 12 minutes because of the injury.
They're desperate.
Just like that.
Yeah.
They're desperate, and he had it going. So they're thinking, we can actually get a win here if we extend his minutes. They didn't. And it's just tough. It's hard to see where the improvement comes for the 76ers outside of Embiid getting back to MVP level and Paul George getting healthy and taking shots that are not the most impossible shots on the court.
Yeah, before he left the game, it's not like Paul George was lighting it up. He was 1 for 6. He didn't hit a 3. He didn't get to the free throw line. And, it wasn't really contributing all that much, which has sort of been the story of his season. I think feels like he's had 1, maybe 2 sort of good games. Otherwise, not great. So Sixers, another loss. They're 2-12. I think they play tomorrow night. I think they're at home. They play the scrappy Nets, and they a team has never needed a win more than this team. I don't care who is playing. We see all these other teams that are banged up and missing half their rosters. They still compete and still sometimes find victories on any given night. So I get it. Oh, we don't have our big three. But yeah, all these other guys that we applauded all summer long. Holy crap, Daryl Morey cooked. Look at all these guys he got, be it Martin or re-signing guys like Oubre and Lowry and like getting these pieces. And Yabusele, who has been good. That's the one you'll give him. Obviously the draft pick, Jared McCain, another decent game. So that's good. But like, yeah, just I don't know when the sort of it's all your fault blame does pivot to maybe Nick Nurse and even by extension sort of Morey and the roster he's put together here. But they need to win on Friday night was the whole point of that.
Yes.
We'll see if they can get it. All right. I have the second pick here, Esh, in our very quick draft of last night's best games. I'm going to go with Hartenstein, picking up the double-double there in his season debut for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They beat the Blazers. Let's talk about this because Hartenstein clearly changes things for OKC immediately. You got the short roll game with him, which he's really good at, which is only going to develop too. It didn't look like perfect last night, but the more reps he gets with those guys, the more that unlocks their offense. The screening, the backline defense. He had a good game. 13 points, 14 boards, 4 blocks in 29 minutes. And again, really provided some rim protection for a team that is at times feels like they're playing a roster made up of all me. Yeah, just small guys. So it was great for them to have a big guy who made an impact. And that block he had on, I guess, the Shaedon Sharpe alley-oop, that right there, probably maybe the play of that game where it's like he is way up by the free throw line. I think is Delano Banton throwing the backdoor oop to Sharpe, one of the highest flyers in the league. And Isaiah Hartenstein spins and cleanly blocks it and then goes the other way and gets the alley-oop. Big momentum play and just an awesome game from him. So what do you think of him sliding into this already talented OKC roster?
Yeah, I called Julius Randle a pair of jeans straight out of the dryer. Isaiah Hartenstein is a tailored pair of pants. Takes a little while to get them back, but when you do, perfect fit, Skeets.
Yeah, you think JD's wearing those right now?
Huh?
You think JD's wearing some perfectly tailored pants?
I don't know. Yeah, he probably bought them off the rack.
I think so.
Yeah, the right size, but maybe he got them hemmed. I don't know how long it takes. I know he went shopping this weekend. Nonetheless, perfect fit for JD. Perfect fit for the Thunder as well. With everything you mentioned, the rim protection, the blocking an alley-oop to then catching an alley-oop on the other side. How often has that happened in NBA history? I don't know if you can figure that out with the shot finder on Basketball Reference, but I would love to know the answer. But it looked cool. Rim protection. He rebounds.
Yep.
He passes the ball. 3 assists last night. Had 6 potential assists, which took me forever to figure out how to
find those,
unearth that information on the NBA.com stats page. And Skeets, you're gonna love this. 8 screen assist points. 8 points generated simply from screening.
He sets a mean screen.
And then he can either roll for the dunk or the short roll, like you're saying, where he creates a little bit out there. Post game, he even got to bark. How exciting is that for Isaiah Hartenstein? So, the Blazers, not the toughest competition, but they've been playing well, and they have a legitimate big dude in Donovan Clingan. So I thought it was cool for Hartenstein to actually get a little bit of run here. It's unfortunate that he doesn't get to play with Chet Holmgren because it'd be cool to see how they actually work together, since it feels like they can both play inside, both play outside. Chet's further out on the perimeter, certainly, but I like what Hartenstein gave him. It's what everybody assumed he was going to bring to the team, and it's exactly what it looked like.
Heading into last night's game, the Thunder ranked 24th in offensive rebounds per game, and they were like in the middle of the league, around 17th when it came to second chance points. Last season, the Thunder were even worse, right? They ranked near the bottom in both of those categories. Rebounds, offensive rebounds per game, and then second chance points. So then you see last night, he comes in. They had 15 offensive rebounds. iHeartRadio, Hartenstein, he had 5 himself. That's like why they got him. They had 46 total rebounds. That was the one glaring hole in this roster. Guys to give him second chance points and to hit the glass and obviously to set picks and stuff like that. So good start for him. Also a little love for J-Dub. Guy is cooking right now. Jalen Williams, the small one, he's on a heater. He's averaging 26, 7, and 6 over his last 6 games. He's shooting 55% from the floor over the same period, 40% from 3, and he hasn't missed a free throw. And then he's adding nearly 3 steals per game and over a block per game. I bring him up because we were doing our dumb early all-star projections, and we included him, especially with the Chet Holmgren injury. And it's like, OKC will probably have a second guy by SGA. J-Dub started slowly, but man, he's turned it on. And I forget who was it? The Daily talking about it today? I guess it was on Schleck's podcast, Down to Dunk. The idea of Jalen Williams, J-Dub, like, he would be the best player on a lot of teams in this league. Like, a lot. And he's their second, sometimes third, when Chet maybe is back in the mix player, which is pretty impressive.
Love the toughness, too. He rolled his ankle pretty early in this one, came back, and then literally dominated. It was awesome in the fourth quarter. And that's another cool thing I think that Hartenstein brings to the table that Chet doesn't always, is that you saw J-Dub finding him, like, underneath the hoop for these drop-off passes that aren't always there for Chet just because of where he's positioned on the floor. Hartenstein's a little more traditional as a center, so they get these easy dump-offs for dunks. He had a ton of them. Those are huge momentum plays, and they look cool.
Yeah, I think that combo, you're right, J-Dub and Hartenstein is going to be very difficult for teams to figure out. And then, there's SGA, and there's a bunch of shooters usually out on the floor as well. Good start for OKC there in his debut with them. All right, the number third pick goes to you. Where are you going?
Number 3 is the picks, and the Knicks are the picks. Brunson, 36. Karl Anthony Towns, 34. The Knicks have won 4 straight. Kind of a cupcake schedule, if we're being honest. The Nets twice, the Wizards, and then the Suns, who did get Yusuf Nurkic back, but are still missing KD and Bradley Beal. But the Knicks offense is cooking. They've been over 130 their last couple of games, including this one. They're up to second in offense right now. 21st in defense, which feels weird knowing this is a Tom Thibodeau team, but then you go back and look at what they've actually done since Thibodeau showed up. In 2021, they were 23rd in offense, 3rd in defense. 2022, 22nd in offense, 11th in defense. Those are Thibodeau teams. They were not talented enough to actually compete. Jalen Brunson then shows up in the summer of 2023, 3rd in offense for the Knicks, 19th in defense, and then last year they found the perfect mix finally. 7th in offense, 10th in defense after they made the trade for OG Anunoby and went crazy in the second half of the season. The defense ain't quite the same right now, but they are tough to stop. They run so many 3-man actions with Brunson, Towns, and then basically one of either Bridges or Josh Hart. Couple of screens, and then it's just like mass confusion. You get a big guy on Brunson, that's tough. You get a little guy on Towns, that's tough. You get a closeout to Towns, he pump fakes and drives to the hoop. It felt like the Knicks were able to get any shot they wanted, and they were basically all good shots. 70 points combined from your top 2 stars. They're both at over 25 points per game on really solid percentages. I think Towns is over 50 from the field and over 50 from 3 as well. That side of the ball is working perfect. They will probably get better on defense as the year goes on. You know, Towns has been part of decent defenses when he's playing alongside a center. Someday Mitchell Robinson will play again.
Someday.
Yeah. But I think they're good enough offensively without Mitchell Robinson that they can deal with the minutes in the playoffs when it comes down to it, assuming everybody's healthy. We'll see at the time. But I was impressed with Brunson and Towns. Brunson's put together a nice little string here.
Oh, my God, yeah. Again, this is one of those things in the preseason when they made the trade, it was like, okay, defensively, question marks. But it was like, everybody was like, the Knicks should be like impossible to stop when you have Brunson and Cat, and then again shooters in the corner like Bridges and OG Anunoby, who's actually having a pretty good offensive season too, and then Hart obviously crashing. It's like, who's gonna stop them? Started a little slow, it was a little sluggish there, but over the last little bit, 138 points in this game. They had 44 in the first quarter. It was one of those games, I know you're never out of it in today's NBA, but it was like, oh man, they're going to run away with this one and just sort of like maintain that lead basically for the rest of the game. So good start. I don't have much else to add except the Suns really would like Kevin Durant, or at least Bradley Beal back, because their record's good when those guys are playing and it's quite bad when they're not.
Yeah, good for Kevin Durant's MVP case. I think he's unfortunately losing it a little bit right now because Jokic is balling, but he was awesome.
And Tatum.
Yeah, exactly. He was awesome at the start of the season, and they've fallen apart basically without him. And it's looking like Booker can't really carry this team, though. This team is kind of tough to watch without those other 2 guys, unless you like Yusuf Nurkic picking pops. He's getting those 3s up, baby.
He sure is. And Budenholzer,
they weren't lying.
He's talked to him. He's like, hey, you're the next Brook Lopez, man. All right, I have the final pick because we're going to call it here because, again, a lot of blowouts last night. And this is a blowout, but there's some interesting things from this game. My 4th pick, it's Ty Jerome scoring a career-high 29 points as the Cavs routed the injury-riddled Pelicans. Let's start with the Cavs quickly here. Again, they win 128-100 over the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's throw that in air quotes because it's not really the New Orleans Pelicans. But Ty Jerome, he started in place of Darius Garland. He had 20 points in the second quarter. He buried 7 3-pointers before halftime. So he played well. And then Cavs rookie Jalen Tyson, which sounds like a backwards name to me. Jalen Tyson. It should be the other way around, I'm convinced. But he got his first career start. He played a lot of minutes. because they hammered them. 16 points, 11 boards, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Good game from the Rook. But let's show you the Pelicans starting 5, because it is something to see here, people. It is Elfrid Payton. We'll talk about him in a second. You may have been like, what? He's in the league?
He's back?
Yeah, he is back. Brandon Boston Jr., Javonte Green, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, and then their Rook, Yves Missy. New Orleans' top 6 scorers, which average a combined like 110 points, all out with injury. So they're forced to play like 3 of their two-way players in this game. Elfrid Payton, guys, was signed earlier in the day on Wednesday, and he started. He actually played okay, like all things considered. He hadn't played since like 2022 in the league. 11 points, 5 boards, 8 assists. But like, look at that, TK. That's not a real NBA roster.
That's nasty.
That is nasty.
They took the elf off the shelf and said, let's play. That's crazy. A guy named Antonio Reeves scored 34 points.
Yeah, he took 25 shots. He's a rookie. He's an old rookie. I think he's like 24 years old.
Antonio Reeves. Yeah. That's a new guy to me.
So this season is a complete disaster. It's, I guess, some similarities to the Sixers. You know, it just... Everything that's gone wrong has. Yep. And, yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add to this.
I mean, it's basically, at this point, it's got to be for the Pelicans. We're the Grizzlies from last year. We got to take our wins where we can. And the wins, I would say, is Eason Missy looks good. Like, he looks like a solid rotation guy in the NBA. He jumped Tice for the starting spot pretty quickly. Looks like he'll probably stay there. You can upgrade still if you wanted sometime down the line, but he's good. Number 2, Brandon Boston, kind of nice. I don't know if he's good, man.
He's being asked to do way too much.
He's being asked to do a lot. They're basically like, go out there and look like Brandon Ingram, physically and also game-wise. Yes. So he's having some decent moments, but maybe he's able to stick on a roster for next season, similar to like a Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams type of thing. But it's just bad for the Pelicans. I've become friends with 2 Pelicans fans who I play basketball with, and they are both playing through injuries. It's unbelievable.
It's actually bled its way into fans. Our guys we know that are just Pelicans fans. Yeah, they're injured.
It's like you can't get away from it. The curse of the Pelicans right now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're just gonna find weird dudes. Antonio Reeves.
Yeah, that sounds like a fake name, but he got his shots up last night. Got his points.
Carlo Matkovic. Carlo Matkovic had 2 last night.
Well, I don't know what that guy looks
5
like. I'll
boards.
be honest.
Yeah.
What's he look like? White dude? Like European dude?
Kind of looks like a Bosnian Isaiah Hartenstein.
Okay. All right. I will say for the Cavs, I mean, I know they're playing like the C League, D League version of the Pelicans last night. That's a nice like bounce back win after the loss to the Celtics, you know, after that snapped the streak. A lot of teams take their foot off the gas and stuff like that, and you're missing some guys. I know Mobley didn't play a ton, but they just kicked the snot out of them. Like, that's good. Like, they are getting all these contributions from all these other guys, so good stuff from them. We'll call it there again. Like, we had the Warriors killing the Hawks last night. We had the Bucks beating your Bulls. We actually have something from that game in a second. Rockets took care of business. They destroyed the Pacers. Şengün had an awesome game. And then the Clippers held the Magic to 93 points. And that was it. So there wasn't really a lot of close games last night. The closest game was, incredibly, the Grizzlies-Sixers game.
Okay, yeah, that was close. I mean, the Bulls got interesting, I suppose, in the fourth quarter at the beginning, and then the Bucks really hit the gas. You know, they put Giannis back in, and it was over. It was kind of the way things went. So things to mention, Golden State lost D'Anthony Melton for the season. That's a bummer. It seemed like he would probably... I mean, who knows? The Warriors are probably going to make a trade regardless, even before the Melton stuff, but I think now they have to. Melton probably would have been in their closing lineup, just for the shooting. He gives them the transition play, and then obviously he's taking like the number 1 perimeter option for the other team defensively. So I think that's a big loss, but it's time for Brandon Podziemski to step up. I think he should be the one to elevate his game offensively. He's bringing it defensively well enough, but he doesn't look super quick this season. Maybe the book is out on him after a rookie season. Not uncommon for a sophomore player to have a down year, but this would be a good time for him to step up.
Well, let's go to that Bulls-Bucks game for a second, because we had an interesting play with Brook Lopez, who appeared to pick up a wedgie, but they didn't call it, so he just grabbed it and scored it. And here's the Bulls broadcast team of Adam Amin and Stacey King on the call.
The ball was wedged in between the rim and the glass, and he grabbed Man, he didn't even jump. He didn't even jump. Look at him.
He's like, I just grabbed it off the wedgie. He took the wedgie away. Where's Taco Trey Kirby? Keeping track of the wedgie counter.
Taco Trey Kirby getting a shout out on the Bulls broadcast last night.
I'm here, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm here. I was watching.
That was
Unfortunately,
crazy.
I was watching on ESPN. I would have loved to have heard that live.
Yeah.
Didn't hear about it until this morning, but honestly, nothing gets me happier than getting mentioned on the home broadcast, you know? Like
makes
when
me
Devlin
laugh.
shouts out you and Tass on the Raptors broadcast, I get a little jealous. If I'm being honest. I'm like,
he sometimes says everybody.
He sometimes does. The man recommended me a dentist once upon a time, so I'll hold nothing against him. You guys deserve it, but how nice does it feel to be on your team's broadcast? Get your name said? Come on.
I laugh every time that they include the taco part of your name. So I do not know why.
That's my given name.
Yeah,
of
Taco
course.
Trey Kirby.
Yeah.
But a weird play there for the podcast listeners. Again, like, the ball gets wedged.
Definitely.
It is wedged, and Brook, just being a giant dude, just was like, I'll just take that out before they blow the whistle and put it right back in. And then you can see Brook Lopez, like, basically laughing with the guys about it. Like, yeah, I designed that play or something like that. So he took away a wedgie.
He took it away.
And we're not counting it.
We cannot.
We will not be counting
Play
it.
continued.
Yeah.
I would like to see an update to the NBA rules book to allow this kind of thing. It would be bad for our wedgie stats, but there should be like a 0.3, like a Trent Tucker rule. 0.3 seconds, it sticks up there. If you can grab it and score, go for it.
Interesting. So good shout out there from the Bulls broadcast. All right, let's pivot here to some trade talk, TK, because last week, Bleacher Report's Dan Favale, he dropped the classic one trade every NBA team should propose right now article. And it got the people going. This stuff always gets the people going. Trade rumors, baby. I wanted to pull a few of what I thought were the more interesting proposed trades from Dan and that Bleacher Report article. Pitch them to you, pitch them to the people here joining us live on YouTube and the podcast listeners, and talk them out a little bit. Basically, hate it, love it, maybe massage it a little bit, might be something there, and we'll talk it through. So first one, we're starting with your Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Lavine, guy's on fire. Trade him. So here's the proposed trade. All of these, again, by way of Bleacher Report. Magic make the move for Zach Lavine. So they get Zach Lavine and Torrey Craig, and the Bulls in return would get Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, Tristan da Silva, and a 2025 first-round pick, most favorable from Denver and Orlando. Top 5 protection through 27. It does turn into 2 second-rounders if not conveyed, but it's down the line. Now, we should note here, this trade could not be completed until January 6th, when Jonathan Isaac's restriction lifts.
Oh, yeah.
So there is that.
Okay.
There is that. Okay. But, the reasoning here from Dan, Lavine, again, opened the season playing well enough to maybe envision the Bulls getting some real value back. Despite having a 3-year, $38 million left on his deal. He would level up the Magic's offense. And Chicago, in theory, is sort of getting the equivalent of 2 first-rounders here, right? The 25 pick, and then Tristan da Silva, who's, is playing all right in limited minutes, but was obviously a first-round pick. And then you get the defensive stylings of Jonathan Isaac. What do you think here as a Bulls fan?
As a Bulls fan, honestly, this seems pretty fair.
Okay.
Of a trade, and I am a little sad that the December 15th deadline hasn't come, where like everybody that signed is now eligible, and also like you're saying January 6th, or the trade deadline is much further down the line. Will Zach Lavine still be shooting 50% from the field when it's actually trade season? We shall see. But right now, I think this is probably about as good as the Bulls could do. You said it's either Denver or Orlando's pick, right? So it's not going to be good.
No.
It's going to be in the 20s, most likely. Da Silva is having a solid start to the season. He's an older guy, but a minor prospect. So bad first, minor prospect. I think that's fine for the Bulls. And any pick where they get back, or any trade where they get back a pick for Zach Lavine, they should do it. Okay. Because in the summer, it would have cost him a pick to get off the contract. But he's come out looking like a good player again. Driving to the hoop, shooting the ball. The guy's a good scorer, and it'll be interesting to see him on a good team. I wouldn't do it if I'm the Magic, though.
No. Okay, why? Talk me through that.
Paolo will be back eventually.
Yep.
Franz is hooping right now.
Yeah.
Lavine is going to want too many shots, and he's going to want to make decisions at the end of the game, and I don't think it would be the ideal fit for the Magic. They should go for somebody who's more of a number 3. Like, Lavine's going to want to be at least a number 2, so I would rather have, like, a Dennis Schroeder if I were the Magic.
Okay.
But I can see the fit, and, beggars can't be choosers, so if Lavine is like the biggest perimeter player out there for the Magic, I could see him taking a chance on it, but there are other guys I would target if I were them.
Yeah, the thinking here for the Magic side is like, we suck at three-point shooting.
Yes.
They're the worst. They're the worst in the league right now. They rank 30th, dead last. They're shooting like just above 30% as a team. So, yeah, Zach Lavine, that's one thing he can do. And it comes in stretches. It's hot for a month or two and maybe leaves him for a bit. But right now he's hot, and he'll fire him up too. So there's that part. I assume you'd rather have Tristan da Silva than like a Jet Howard, or maybe you would want another first-round pick, like protected first-round pick in the future. Like, how would you play that? I think I would want da Silva, but we're going off very little.
Jet Howard would be very funny because they drafted Jet Howard with one of the picks that the Bulls traded for Vucevic. So that part of it would be very funny to me.
Right.
Neither of them are that good, though.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have da Silva because he's a little bigger, and Patrick Williams is out right now, and the Bulls just need somebody with size.
Yeah.
So I guess da Silva's a little better in that regard.
Okay. Let's keep it moving here. We'll stick with the Bulls, though. And I should say Dan approached every package as if the sort of spotlighted team is the one proposing it. But again, to try and make it realistic, where maybe both teams would consider. So this is Vucci, baby. This is Vucevic. Headed to the Lakers. Bulls getting back D'Angelo Russell, Christian Wood, and then a 2025 second-round pick by way of the Clips. So Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report has been saying for a long time that the top priority for the Lakers is a talented big man. And Vooch, like, I guess similar to Zach Lavine, has played really well. He's shooting 77% at the rim on more volume than ever in his career, 62% from mid-range, 48% from three. So the idea is like the Lakers could probably use him both independently or next to Anthony Davis at times. There's a defensive trade-off, I think, when Vooch is in your lineup, but maybe they can sort of hide him, so to speak, when you have AD and when Vanderbilt gets back and all that stuff. So, okay, I say all that because I want your opinion on this one. Vucevic to the Lakers for D'Angelo Russell, Wood, and a second-round pick.
Call it in. Call it in. I think this is nice here. The Lakers, This is a definite upgrade for them.
Yeah.
Vucevic, instant scapegoat in LA if this trade happens. Instant scapegoat. He would help with the shooting. They're 24th in three-point attempts, like you're saying. Vooch is having a good year shooting. He's going to shoot him. He is going to be open. Last year, they did not go in. He was under 30%. He was like the worst high-volume three-point shooter outside of Westbrook in the NBA.
Oh, he used to play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
He used to be a scapegoat.
Exactly. They don't have a scapegoat right now. D'Angelo Russell's playing too well.
Yeah.
They moved into the bench. Anyways, he also rebounds. Vucevic does. And the Lakers are 21st in defensive rebounding rate, so he would help there. He doesn't help with defense, but like you're saying, he was part of good defensive teams with the Magic, playing alongside guys who are actual defenders in Jonathan Isaac. Aaron Gordon was around at the time. So, maybe the Lakers can talk themselves into that. I personally wouldn't want D'Angelo Russell on the Bulls, but maybe you could reroute him somewhere else.
Yeah, and this is like a opening up cap space type of move, getting off Vooch's deal, because D'Angelo Russell's, well, he's done this year, his contract.
Right.
Yeah, he took the player option. He's like $18 million. It's not even all that bad, really. I don't know what Christian Wood's contract is right now. I could check. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's expiring as well. He exercised his option, too. So, yeah, it's a money move. It's opening it up. It's getting off Vooch. It's getting, a second-round pick. Of course, you'd want a first-round pick, but I don't know. I don't think you're getting a first rounder for Vooch right
now. Clearing the contract would be good.
Yes. And, yeah, I don't mind this one. I honestly don't. It's very realistic to me.
Yeah. Yes.
Like the return package.
Yes, it is realistic.
And, maybe the Lakers wanting a player like him. I see it. I see the vision here, Dan. All right, let's get off.
How about this?
Yeah.
Would you rather, if you're the Lakers, would you rather have Vooch or Pirtle? Pirtle maybe cost you a pick. Maybe.
The Raptors would love to get a pick back after they obviously gave one to get him. Oh.
He ain't a shooter.
No.
It's another inside guy for sure.
But defensively, he's a rock.
Much better. And he moves the ball.
Yeah, I think I want Pirtle. But I'm probably saying that as a bit of a homer here because I wouldn't mind, cashing in on that right now because he's cooking too. There's roles for both of them. It can be talked into both of them working. Pirtle would be less of like a scapegoat, that's for sure.
Yes. I agree, man. Oh, man. I would feel bad for my man, Vooch. They'd be calling him Boiled Vooch. No Vooch, man. Yeah, it's LeBron feeding him pick and pops. Clank, 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 clank,
Well,
clank.
I mean, not right now. He's nearly 50%.
That's right.
Team,
Vooch
man.
only makes him when it counts.
Yeah.
It was money in the fourth quarter last year.
Okay, let's go away from the Bulls here. Let's go to this Bucks-Rockets trade, which sort of stopped me dead in my tracks here from Dan at Bleacher Report. I was like, huh? Whoa, what? What's going on here? Okay, Bucks would receive Tari Eason and Dillon Brooks, and the Rockets would receive Khris Middleton and a future first-round pick, 2031, top 1 protected.
Top 1.
And it would turn into a couple second-rounders if not conveyed, but, likely would convey there, being just top 1 protected. Here's the thinking. Quote from Dan: Milwaukee desperately needs athleticism and perimeter defense, to name just a few things. Brooks and Eason are not the most explosive, but they deter and they disrupt. Ball containment and the ability to force turnovers go from a crippling weakness to a strength when you put them into the fold. And then including that 2031 first rounder requires the utmost faith that this trade will work out enough to keep Giannis happy. Because, again, you're sort of mortgaging the future even more, but the idea would be to improve your team to keep Giannis. I think I struggle from the Rockets side of things maybe with this one. Why they would do it? Like, yeah, he would help their offense without infringing upon others. His contract expires as soon as the summer with a player option, so you're not boxing yourself into a corner with Middleton. But then again, he hasn't played. He's on a different timeline, but maybe that's good. I don't know. What do you think?
This is a big no.
Big
from
no.
Both
Okay.
sides.
Both sides.
Yeah,
Good.
I don't think either side should or would do this. The Bucks are excited about Khris Middleton coming back. They'll all say, I didn't like them giving a Derrick Rose update on his injury. He's cleared to play. He's physically fine, but he's basically keeping himself out now, is what it read. I never like hearing that, but assuming Middleton comes back, looks like Middleton, I think trading him is too big of a change for a Bucks team that has been searching for an identity for a year and a half, and now you're going to trade the guy who's been alongside Giannis, won a title with him? That doesn't make any sense to me, especially to get back Tari Eason, who is good, but still a bench player, and Dillon Brooks, who is a polarizing player.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
we've seen what he's done on some teams that were supposed to be contenders. From the Rockets side of things, I think Middleton is an upgrade, but I don't like trading a guy in Eason who they like.
Yep.
Dillon Brooks, who's been important to their
Identity,
culture there for sure.
Yeah.
And Middleton could be a free agent this summer. He could easily
player option.
leave. I don't think that makes any sort of sense. I think that the Rockets could get somebody better than Khris Middleton if they're willing to trade a guy like Tari Eason, put Dillon Brooks in a package as well. They've got other young players. They've got a ton of picks. They could get a bigger name than Khris Middleton.
Right. You could reach a lot higher than a banged up Middleton at that, who obviously is getting up there a little bit in age. I will say from Dan's article here, because again, this was a trade for every team. He proposed one. Tari Eason, he was traded 3 times in this column. He was traded to the Bucks, as we just talked about. He was traded to the Sixers, and he was traded to the Suns. So, in high demand and obviously a lot easier to move with his contract as it is. Larry Nance Jr. was also traded 3 times in this column. He was traded to the Cavs, he was traded to the Thunder, and he was traded to the Kings.
Okay.
Just want to note that there. Those were ones being moved around in this a lot. All right, final one here. Let's go to those poor Pelicans. This was the proposed trade. The Grizzlies received Brandon Ingram in exchange for another Brandon. Would it be the first Brandon for Brandon trade in NBA history? I say yes.
What about Brandon Knight, Brandon Jennings?
What about Brandon
Were they traded
Rush?
for each other?
Oh, were they?
I think they were.
Oh, damn. It'll be the second
Bucks and
then.
Pistons?
That sounds right.
I think they were.
Somebody fact check us on that. Anyway, Grizzlies get Brandon Ingram. Pelicans would get Brandon Clark, Marcus Smart, Vince Williams Jr., and the 2025 first-round pick, which is top 8 protected through 2027. And again, one of these things that would turn into 2 second-rounders if not conveyed. Dan says, quote, max contract demands continue to complicate his value across the league. We're talking about Ingram here. The Grizzlies are among the few teams you can talk yourself into needing and valuing Ingram enough to send New Orleans real value here, if you believe this is real value. Thoughts?
I started 50-50 on this, but I think I ultimately come down to the Grizzlies saying no.
Okay.
Because I don't think they're going to want to pay Ja, Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and then have to pay Ingram. doesn't make sense to me. That's not a team that's going to win a title.
Right.
And that's a very expensive team, and they're giving away quite a bit. They love their draft picks. Memphis is good at drafting. We just talked about it. If they really wanted Brandon Ingram, wait until the summer and sign him. Why give up anything?
Sure. I mean, I guess you're getting off of Smart's deal, which is 1 year, about $22 million. Brandon Clark, 2 years, $25 million. Vince Williams Jr. is injured. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a play for now, for sure. Like, if you really believe you're where you are in the standings of the Western Conference and your chances to go deep adding Ingram, like, it's an upgrade if he's on that team right now. But I'm with you. Like, long-term plans, like, perplexing. I get it more from the Pelicans side. Because I think this is actually pretty decent value for what I actually think Ingram's going to get, personally.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they get a pick.
Yeah.
A pick.
Yeah.
But I think it's smart for the Pelicans to trade for 3 guys who have been hurt this year.
They're like, hey, man.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, come on in. You can get hurt for us. That's fine. We'll get the number 1 pick. Cooper Flagg. That's a great deal for them. We get Cooper Flagg and another pick in the, probably the teens? I don't know.
Yeah.
Grizzlies pick?
It's top 8 protected in theory. So, from the Pelican side, sure. Maybe not from the Grizzlies side, but those are 4 trades that I pulled from that column. It's a great column. I will make sure to add it to the show notes if you want to click through and read that. Thanks to Dan for that. And let's hear your opinion on all of those. Okay, pick 'em tonight. It's Orlando in LA taking on the Lakers. There's a back-to-back situation for the Magic, and now you're not even playing in the same arena. Now you gotta fight that LA traffic going from the Intuit Dome to the Lakers barn. The Lakers are favored by 5.5, and that's why three of us here in the No Dunks universe are taking the Lakers, but I am swerving and taking the Magic. What's your reasoning for LA here?
I just think that they're on a little bit of a roll right now. They're a really good offense, and though I think the Magic have held teams under 100 in every single one of their wins in this 6-game winning streak.
Which is over now, but yeah.
Yeah. Like, they've looked pretty solid, but I just think that the Lakers are rolling.
Yeah. Magic didn't look good last night, but a part of that equation is the Clippers' defense, no doubt. They couldn't hit a 3, which we talked about. That's sort of their thing. I got boxed into a corner here with this one, if we're being honest. There were a lot of Lakers picks in the dock this morning when I jumped in. Okay, I'll take the Magic. But hey, I just need them to keep it close enough. Close game from Orlando gets it done for me. These guys need the Lakers to win by 6 or more. Only 4 games on tonight. Pistons, Hornets, Wolves, Raptors, Jazz, Spurs, and that Magic Lakers game. So I think tomorrow on the Drop Podcast, Ash will be here in studio. We'll do, of course, rapid fire. And I think we could do like a 1 month in sort of check on the season, ask some questions, maybe some awards, whatever. Because really, that's where we're at. 1 month into the season. Does it feel like it to you? Longer? Shorter? Has it gone by in the blink of an eye?
It feels like exactly 1 month to me.
Perfect. Ash, you're nodding away over that?
It does feel like a month. I'm like, 12 games-ish, you know?
Yeah, it just feels like it's been moving at their correct pace. Not too fast, not too slow. It's just like, we're here. We're almost to Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost to the holiday seasons here in the States, for sure. Yeah. Like, next week for us, we'll have a short week.
Yeah.
Because of Thanksgiving.
Check the gourds.
Check the gourds. And then, of course, Christmas right around the corner. Getting hyped for the Disney Dunk Contest. We'll do an entire show on that. Breaking down.
Skipped right over the NBA Cup.
Jeez, oh my God, the NBA Cup on tomorrow night.
Have some respect.
Tuesdays. Jeez, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, we're going to Vegas for the NBA Cup, at least for the semifinals and the finals.
Cup it up.
We're cupping it up. We weren't there last year, and people were like, "You got to be here."
We said not until it has a real name.
Yeah, that's right.
They called it the in-season tournament last year. There's merch.
Yeah.
I wish I would have got a hat. Man.
Oh, it said in-season tournament. yeah.
NBA in-season tournament.
So when we go out there, do you think you'll try and get an NBA Cup hat or shirt?
It ain't the same.
Oh, wow.
I think it just ain't the same for gangsters. We're wearing our in-season tournament hats. Imagine like a West Side Story like fight between in-season tournament hats and NBA Cup hats. Hey.
All right, guys. So we will be here tomorrow for the Drop Podcast. So make sure you join us live at 10 a.m. Eastern. Later today, though, if you're a Survivor fan, we got no buffs. Nora will be making her way into the factory here to break it down with TK and I. Fun episode last night. I think there's lots to chew on. So we'll get into that. We had a guy wearing just a vest.
just a vest, Cisco style.
Oh yeah, it was Saul in the pouring rain too. It really was like an R&B sort of song. We'll talk about that. We'll show you that on No Buffs. So that's got its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed. So make sure you check that out if you're a Survivor fan at 1 o'clock Eastern. Okay, until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, on July 31st, 2013, Brandon Jennings was traded by the Milwaukee Bucks to the Detroit Pistons for Brandon Knight, Vaclav Kravtsov, and Khris Middleton.
Damn! Wow.
Bucks got
Full
Khris
circle.
Middleton in a Brandon for Brandon trade.
Good call on the Brandon for Brandon trade. That's why you are a sicko, my man. That's impressive.
I love slop.
He does indeed. Brace the day, people.